All right, so we're into Maxim number 2 now, which is manly men tend their fields. His main point is, and this is pretty much a straight up quote, in a man's life, little goes wrong when he tends his field, but almost everything goes wrong when he doesn't tend his field. So let's make this personal first. A couple of you, think of a time in your life when you didn't tend your field, and did it blow up on you? Or how did it go wrong for you?
I was thinking of car maintenance today. My car is due for an inspection.
Yeah.
I know this is so
That's a good
stupid and
note,
practical.
right,
My car's due
yeah.
for an inspection. Actually, I got my first car inspected 2 weeks ago, but my car's due and it's like 4 days late. If a cop is watching this, don't pull me over. But I have it scheduled for this weekend, and I'm thinking if this car, like, it needs an oil change as well. If this car craps out on me with my baby in the back and my wife, and she knows it's up for inspection, it's gonna blow up my face. It's gonna be my fault. And just things got busy, and I didn't get a chance to schedule it. And so that's a small little piece on how tending my field. It's my responsibility to do that. I didn't go very wrong.
Anybody else?
What'd you say?
Hope his grandfather's not listening.
I think the
either.
same thing when I do that, because that's always like, the car thing's not anything that really comes naturally to me. I don't know how to do anything other than put gas.
But
That
we've all
makes me
been
not
given
very manly.
fields. When you say
That's
that,
right.
I know
Yeah.
this is a metaphor, but it plays into life,
Exactly.
and that is taking care of your responsibilities.
Yeah.
I can remember as a kid, basically my dad said, "This is your yard.
Yeah.
You take care of this yard."
That's right.
He traveled during the week at that
Mhm.
point, and so he wanted to come home and see that yard cut and trimmed and weeded, and that was my field. That was my first responsibility. That's what I had to do before I could get a job going out somewhere else to get a job.
Yeah.
But then that prepares you for the responsibilities in your life. Yeah.
Because I want to come back to what you said, because it's so big, and I can speak from tons of experience. It's like, so let's hypothetically say that it's somebody else who didn't get their car inspected,
Okay.
and then the cop pulls them over.
Yeah.
And they were running on a shoestring budget, so now not only isn't the car inspected yet, but now the guy's got a ticket on top of this. So he's got a fine to pay, plus the car that he can't quite afford to get inspected. And then some other bill comes due, and he can't take care of all those bills, and so the late fees start to rack up. And it's not just that guys set out to sabotage their lives and say, I think I'm gonna wake up and be dumb.
Yeah.
It just takes a couple of moments of being lax, and then all of a sudden, for most of us, we don't have so much surplus in our life that we can cover that or compensate for it.
I absolutely agree. That's huge.
All right, so this tending your field thing starts out with when you're born, you don't choose to have to take care of yourself, but that comes to you. But a lot of the choices about the fields that we have to tend, we've chosen. You choose to get married, you choose to have children, or if you choose to get married by default, you've opened yourself up to the prospect of having children. So what do we say to guys who have chosen these things without a real understanding of what they were getting themselves into, and now they feel that they're over their head and don't seem to have the ability to take care of the field that they now own? What do we say to them to give them some encouragement?
I hope, I was thinking about this group today, and that people are going to be sitting in a living room or a diner in the group, and I'm thinking, people in my group that are coming, that are probably watching this video right now, didn't know each other before this group. And so I'm thinking, wouldn't it be great by week 8, whatever it be, by Christmas, that they have 5 guys, new cell phone numbers, text messaging, and encouragement, a support, a group that they can rally around and just have friends. That's it, just friends. Like, I think another chapter in this book that says you can't do this alone, right?
Yeah.
You can't do this alone. You need friends. And I hope that if a guy is stuck in a situation, that he has someone else on a path that's been there before or going through the same type of thing that he can reach out to.
Yeah, and one of the most insightful things for most guys is to find out he was living in his own little silo, and his life was in chaos, and he couldn't manage his responsibilities. Sitting 3 feet from him was another guy huddled up in his own inside his own life, experiencing the exact same thing. And each of them is thinking, nobody understands what I'm going through in life.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
I think also the tendency for guys, though, is to never ask for help. To never put a flare up.
We gotta have it.
No,
it's all figured out. I've got it.
That's right, exactly.
I know what I'm doing.
No directions.
And yeah, I mean, I'll Google it later, and then it's too late to look it up because now all of a sudden you have to do 10 more things to cover for that one.
Yeah, because you don't want to talk about it when you feel like you're failing at something,
Right,
or you feel like
that's
you're not
exactly
able
right.
to take care of it.
Yep.
If your pride comes in,
Yeah.
you feel like you should be able to take
Absolutely.
care of it yourself, right?
But the funny thing about masculine culture, and tell me if you had it different, but when I was growing up, I got the feeling that the guys that were older than I was, like my father, they just magically knew how to do it. I never heard the side about
Yeah.
how they made a complete screw up of something.
That's the impression I had.
Same.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you what happened. What you just said, that happened to me and your mom years ago when we were young, and she got pulled over and her vehicle wasn't inspected. Let me tell you, you don't want your wife to come home
That's right.
and tell you all about that. And I take care of things, I'm responsible, but you
Should've
know,
probably told you
it
that
happened.
before today.
And the month before, every month, he gets a special little post-it
Yeah.
note reminder, nudge.
No,
You know, hon,
no, I take care of all
I
that.
know,
She
it's
doesn't
done.
know it. But
Yeah,
I'm
it's
saying,
I know.
but that time I didn't.
Yeah, it's
And she
everywhere.
got pulled over, so she had to come home and tell me about it, and you don't want to have that happen, let me tell you. Forget the police, you just don't want your wife to When they tell you about it, they tell you about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
They can withhold things now.
Okay, so in a typical group of 7, 8, 9 guys, there's probably a couple of people that are maybe over their heads and drowning in their responsibilities. Their field just seems too big for them to care for. So, do we have anything to say about how do you honorably step out of responsibilities? Because you know, one of the smart things we do in life is sometimes to pair off. If we've bitten off more than we can chew,
Yeah.
then there's a time where we have to say, you know what, honestly, I think I can no longer honorably do this, and figure out how to step out of it. Now, that doesn't mean abandon your kids, leave your
Yeah,
wife.
right,
but
stepping out of the right field.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But you may be in a fantasy football league. And do you know how much? I mean, that's time consuming.
Yeah.
And just
No, I don't. Why don't you tell me how
exactly.
time-consuming
Well, I'm not
it is?
the one either anymore. So let me tell you, I don't know.
He honorably got out of that field.
But you do. You cut things off though, and there are seasons where you need to do that, and you need to
Yeah.
refocus, and you need to change. And I think right now we're in that great time of year where a lot of change does happen.
Yeah.
And I always am mindful of, in terms of our field as a physical field, in terms of our ground that we might have to take care of, we have to, do different things to take care of the grass to get it green in the beginning of the year. And then we have to cut and mow it and keep it trim. And then at the end of the year, you're supposed to take care of and prepare for the next spring, and that means you have to aerate it and things like that. And then you have snow removal. It's not like you ever have a true break from it, but just because these seasons come and go, we do still need to balance it out, and that's going to be hard for some people.
You
to
just
say
said something good though, well, several things very good, but back up. You may have to let go of some things. Some things you may not be able to do right now in your life because you have to take care of your field.
Yeah.
Okay, now, the flip side of this, and I want to leave with this final thought, what do we say to the guy who maybe knows he should or could take on more? The guy who knows maybe God's calling him to do something, he says, no, I don't want to. Is there such a thing as a guy who's resisting responsibility that he should rightfully pick up?
Well, I think you need to look at, I want you guys to answer that, but when I say letting go of some things, maybe some things that are frivolous things,
Yeah.
time consuming, maybe they don't really matter.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
We maybe need to pick up some things that are more of eternal worth and
That's
value.
Exactly.
So,
Okay, this has been good.
And Luke 16:10, I was just going to bring in
Good.
because I'm always going there, but it's the person who's faithful in the small things.
Love that.
And it's just that person who, I remember a former pastor of mine always looked for the people who were sitting around after church looking for ways to sweep, to clean, to do little things so that they could just help. And it's those people that can pick up a little thing like that, own it, and then they're given responsibility over more.
Yep.
And that's what the master does.
Yep.
And in our lives, that plays out by being faithful in those things. And the person who, unfortunately, on the opposite side, who is unjust in those matters, it's the same. Caveat: if they're not good in those things, then guess what? Then they're not. But if they are, then they will. And so we need to constantly look at that. I mean, it doesn't take a big things; it's small things.
Yeah.
Is what it says.
Okay,
That's where
let's bring it
start.
home with a couple of quick scriptures, if anybody has one, and then we're done with this Maxim. John, do you have any?
Put you on the spot.
no.
I like the verse
I-
about seeking first His kingdom and His
Yeah,
righteousness. I always
absolutely.
think that's a great verse as a reminder of putting God first in everything. Because so many times I think when we're in a situation, we look at where we're at, and we want to be in someplace different. We want to be in maybe a bigger field or something else, and so we try to work our way there. But I think God's plan sometimes is to just put Him first, or whatever season you're, whatever field that is in your
That's
life.
right,
If you
right.
seek Him first, that He honors that, and
These things,
and
that's
it
right.
opens you up to receive
So much
the
more
greater
added.
blessings
Yeah.
in your life. So
I think this is a good one. This is for any guy out there who's just who might have taken his eye off of protecting his field,
Yep.
his home, his kids, his family. And it goes to 1 Peter 5:8. Be alert, vigilant, sober-minded, that your adversary, which is anyone, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion. Anyone? Bueller. But it's seeking. It's ultimately he's seeking, to destroy, seeking someone to devour. It says, and I love it. It doesn't say that our adversary is out there looking for things. It's looking for someone. He's looking at taking someone out, and that may be on your watch in your home. And you have to be on watch. You have to be guarding, and you have to be protecting. And I tell you, it's that's manning up right there.
Yeah.
That verse right there is the exact reason we don't like cats.
Amen. Exactly.
Preach.
Amen.
High five. Sorry.
You have a cat, don't you?
It's okay.
You look like a cat. You have a cat.
I'm pretty secure in that too.
Wait, how
That's like
many
me
cats?
saying
You
I'm
have more than
secure
one?
that I wear female clothes.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's really
Say,
not.
well, in
I
the
did
video.
not know
Well, in the
you
video.
had a cat.
I can tell
All
you have a
this
cat.
time, now you know.
You can tell. If you have a cat watching this video,
He
you
looks
check
down
yourself
when you
in the
mention
study.
that.
See a cat like at your big, all your business there, and he keeps
First
the mice
off,
away. Outdoor
if I
cat.
can say so, he is not a he, it's a she.
Oh, even worse. No,
And
so
you're not a leader in this video. That's all.
Are we done now?
We are done because you own a
Not
cat.
looking so good.
You literally own a